Hey, everybody, welcome into Day by Day with Andrew and Alex. I am James. We are here recording on a Thursday night, and it has been a wild week. We're going to get into all of the things with Matt Rhule and Penn State and the coaching carousel that's begun. We're going to talk some midseason report card for Nebraska and look forward to Minnesota, which is tomorrow night. And those of you watching it will probably be watching it on Friday. So as a reminder, you can find the show on characterchronicles.com, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, of course. Hit that like and subscribe button. We're growing the subscribership slowly but surely. As always, it helps more people to find us. So we thank you for tuning in. All right, guys, it's been a busy week. I feel like we've lived about a month in the last 4 days since Monday. How are you guys doing on a Thursday night?
Very excited for game day. That's like I know the team may not prefer a Friday game, but it's fun as a fan.
Yeah, I on a short week, it feels like it's been the longest week ever.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, my wife made the comment yesterday, I can't believe it's only Wednesday. I was like, well, I've only been gone for 2 days at work. Like, let's calm down. But no, it does seem like it's been a long week. Obviously, there's added drama that we'll get into, but I think that it's just something about Friday night games. Cincinnati was the same way. I know that's a season opener, but 2 years ago I went to Minneapolis as you did too, James, and that was the longest week ever, and that was the longest drive to Minneapolis of my life.
And a terrible ending.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that one, but
probably not a great drive back either.
I don't think we'll have the same outcome this week, but
we're just a little different, like at quarterback and coaching.
I watched some of those replays from oh my gosh, what was his name? Jeff Sims.
Yep.
Just some of the throws that were made, and then of course I watched the replay of the final touchdown that Minnesota had to put us at tied to get us to 10-10, and just like, man, just tough situation, tough game, first game, new coach, and Nebraska should have won. And both programs are in very different spots.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of bad memories from that game, and some of them are recorded, and my wife will show it to me every once in a while. My wife's cousin used to be on the dance team at Minnesota, so it was like a family event. Also, my first ever away game, so I partook a little heavily in some other things. And there's a video of me right before the half pretending to take a picture for my wife's cousin and her friends and recording myself yelling, "We're going to get a touchdown," right before the Jeff Sims interception to end the half. My wife shows that to me probably once a month. I'm like, can we just delete it?
Well, tomorrow when they win, you can delete it.
No, my wife, I'll never get my hands on the phone to delete it.
Yeah, that's too bad. All right, well, let's start with the coaching carousel that has begun. Several coaches now laid off, obviously. I keep saying Kirk Franklin. James Franklin. I don't know why I will call that guy Kirk Franklin. James Franklin. I don't know which one of us said he would be the next one to go. I don't think it was any of us. I don't think that at the point we talked about that, Penn State had even lost a game.
Yeah, we were talking like in Dabo
and I don't think we haven't really even talked about this in our group chat. Do you guys think he should have been fired?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Tell me why.
Okay, so for Nebraska fans, I'm going to take this back to Bo Pelini. There is, like, other than being successful, there is like a world where it makes sense. Now, James Franklin didn't go on national television and dare his boss to fire him, so let's take that part of it out.
Yeah.
But with where Penn State has been for the majority of Franklin's run, championships are legitimately an expectation. at this point for them. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's where the fan base and the boosters
Sure.
feel they should be. I don't think they have a Big Ten championship in his run.
No.
Not really good against top 10 teams, and you are recruiting at a top 15 level consistently just underperforming in the big games. And James, we've talked about this before. Andrew, I don't think you were on with us when I said it, but like every coach has a ceiling, every program has a ceiling, and then everybody has a ceiling together. And at a certain point, Franklin had hit that ceiling, and I don't think he gets fired if the wheels don't fall off against Northwestern or UCLA. Like, you come into the year, James and I both picked them to win the Big Ten or be right there, have a shot at the national title. Losing to Oregon, acceptable. If you only lose to Oregon and Ohio State, make the playoff, you're not getting fired. But then you turn around and you give UCLA their first win. And then you lose at home to Northwestern, who is 5-1 right now? 4-2, something like that.
I don't know.
I think 4-2. Yeah.
They're not a terrible team by any means, but they have no business coming into Penn State and winning that game.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like, if you have expectations and they're not being met, and then you have 2 back-to-back really bad losses in 3 losses in a row, absolutely makes sense. That's not saying I agree with firing him, because I think he's one heck of a coach, but it makes sense.
Yeah, the pushback I would give is there's only 3 or 4 active head coaches who have won a national championship. And so you got Ryan Day, you got Kirby Smart, you got
Dabo.
I think those are the 3. So when you think about that, that's an incredible thought, because, I mean, you go back, let's say 20 years, you had a lot more active coaches who had won a national title coaching at the same time, right? And you go back 30 years, it's even more. So I just think what I worry about, actually, I don't worry, because, to be honest, unless Matt Rhule is the one who goes to Penn State, and I would root for him, I would have just get my cards out on the table. I wouldn't fault the guy at all, because it's his alma mater. I don't think he should do it. I don't think he'll get offered the job anyway, but I'm a fan of Matt Rhule, and I really have nothing against Penn State, like, we do Colorado, Texas, Iowa, like Wisconsin. Like, okay, I got nothing against Penn State. There was the whole scandal, right? Like, I get that's terrible, but all those people are gone. They're not, the kids and the coaches that are there now have nothing to do with that. So, but if they don't hire Rhule, I kind of hope this sets them back about 10 to 20 years, because it's like Bo, I feel like, was fired for a mix of reasons, right? Like, he was a jerk and he couldn't win the big game. And I think if his personality would have been a little more,
got blown out.
Yeah. So, but I'm like, I think this is going to set Penn State back a long way, unless they get somebody incredible. But who are you going to get? We want somebody that can win national titles. Well, you're not going to get. I don't think Dabo Swinney is going to go to Penn State. Maybe he would. You're not
the only one that would answer the call today.
Yeah, and you're not getting Kirby Smart, and then Ryan Day is not leaving to go there. So Dabo would be the one option, but even he's a little bit on a downward trend. So
unless you bring in a Jimbo Fisher, a Urban Meyer, like someone out of retirement, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen, who hasn't won one, but
right. I can understand why they fired it. I agree. I don't think he should have been, but I think because they started the year ranked number 2, were they 1 or 2? 2?
Oh, yeah, 1 or 2.
And then coming off a playoff, like, I think the expectations, like you said, were so high that it.
I get that.
Now the underachievement is so much more magnified. Like, maybe they would have fired him anyway, but I think that hurts a little bit. And then I'm so deep in the Matt Rhule stuff that I listen to Penn State podcast today. Just curious what like their rival or their whatever their rivals or 247.
What's the scoop?
Yeah. Well, one, they were all in agreement. I think they were sad to see him go, but they were like, being in the stadium last week, they go, it had to happen. They said it was just the negative atmosphere, like things, the fans booing, like things just really divisive. He's like, you gotta, like, at that point, I think that ceiling's met and you got to move on. They didn't really get much in. They're not, from what I listen to, being super hot takey about coaches. I think they all want Signetti, but that seems like that's not happening because he's locked in for an extension now. So didn't get too much out of it. I think they spoke highly of Rhule, but I think most people don't see it being Rhule. I think they want like Mike Elko from A&M or an even bigger name. So
you're gonna be 9-3,
right? But I had
10-2.
I had that thought too because I don't like Signetti, although I'm starting to respect him more. Was like, oh, maybe he goes and it'd be hilarious if they tank and they're and they don't live up to. But then I had the thought like, okay, then we're gonna be in the same spot in 3 years when they fire the next guy. They're gonna be coming after Rhule again. So it's like, do you heard for their success or not?
I heard Signetti on Joel Klatt, and I was pretty actually impressed. He seemed much more level-headed, down to earth, much more humble. But I was really taken aback by, he said, we do everything really quickly and very efficient. He said our practices are about 90 minutes. He said for walkthroughs, we do 25 to 35 minutes. He goes, when we're coaching, we're doing our day. He goes, practice is quick. And he goes, we get done with our work and I tell my guys to go home, his coaches. And I was like, that's great. Like, I actually really respect, as somebody who like is a dad of 4 kids. Like I couldn't imagine living in coaching world and like never seeing my family. And so I was like, okay, my respect went up for Signetti. So that's neither here nor there, but let's go back to Rhule now. Like, again, I don't think he'll go to Penn State. I actually don't think they would even offer him the job, but I want to know what you guys think. How do you think this will turn out?
I mean, I don't think he ends up at Penn State because he doesn't get the offer. I think if he gets the offer, he likely takes. I mean, he's called it his dream job.
I've never heard that, but maybe I missed it. When did he talk about that?
I think I caught it last year, the first time he was on McAfee.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's where I caught it.
Wow.
And it's been said so many times this time, maybe at this point, maybe that's not true. And now I'm imagining him saying it. I don't have the quote directly from when it happened, but I don't think he'll get the job, mainly because I don't think he's flashy enough from a name standpoint and things that he's accomplished. Although, I said this to somebody this week, like, if you want to look at record against ranked teams and top 10 teams, like, you also have to acknowledge that for him, he's always the underdog. He's always the inferior team. In the middle of a rebuild. Like, I think the money people are going to recognize that. And then I think the things that he's doing to build the brand of Nebraska with his podcast and the Pat McAfee show are also building his brand as a coach. And that could be attractive to a Penn State. I think that's part of the problem with Franklin. I don't think he was as involved in the community as Matt Rhule is today. And I don't know that for certain, but I know Matt Rhule gets talked about a lot across multiple fan bases in this conference because of the stuff he does.
I also think, Alex, to that point, I think Nebraska's brand feels stronger than Penn State's. I mean, to me, like, I know that obviously.
Is it because of Matt Rhule?
But no, I mean, I think Matt Rhule I think he jumped on an opportunity. He saw the strength of the brand and was like, he obviously wants to revive it. But I just don't see the Penn State being the same. Like, he definitely could do the same to Penn State's brand, but I don't know if it would turn out the same just because I'm not sure it exists the way it is right now. But
and I'll be honest with you guys. I'll if he signs an extension before Penn State names head coach, there are very specific numbers I'm going to look at for that extension to feel really confident that he is not taking that Penn State job.
Yeah.
Because I think he has a good enough relationship with Troy Dannon, and he cares enough about the community and the program that, you know, he could sign an extension, but that extension is just building up the other school's buyout for him and still take that job and not leave Nebraska high and dry. I don't think that would happen, but I think those numbers are very important to look at in an extension.
I agree.
So,
yeah,
Alex, you said you think if he was offered it, he'd take it. So this is the stuff as like an emotional fan that I'm really getting into is the things he's saying, the things that are going on social media, the McAfee stuff today. Like, surely, I mean, it definitely feels encouraging, but again, I think we said in the chat, like he still didn't like make a commitment or anything. Why do you think he would be saying those things? And as a fan who really likes him, I would be disappointed if he turned around and took Penn State and said, okay, why are you just gassing us all up now? And then you all along you knew you were taking this job. So one theory I had was, is he just potentially setting it up for a successful transition to the next coach? Like today, the whole comment about it's a destination place. It's easy to say, oh yeah, he wants to stay because it's a destination place. Or is he already gone in his mind and he's kind of recruiting another coach for us at this point? I mean, that's probably a little far-fetched, but
no, I mean, I could see that, Andrew. Here's where I sit with it today. Like, this is what I see. I don't think he'll get the offer. I think he's probably 6, 7, 8 on that list. And if it gets to him, which he's not expecting it to, but if it does, the way I see it playing out for him is that's my alma mater. They're in a world of hurt now. It's my good friend as the AD. Like, I see those heartstrings being tugged. Like right now, I think today he's telling Kraft, like, don't call me. Do not give me that offer. Don't put me in that position. But I think if it gets to that point, it's more than just the job. It's the relationships.
And if he's saying all these these things about Nebraska that, you know, he's singing the praises of Nebraska. I think he knows probably in the back of his mind his out or his, you know, he could lean on that, like, hey, I hope you guys understand, you know, how hard this was. You know, I truly feel all this about Nebraska. But yeah, I guess probably what the hope would be anyway is that fans would understand. But I would feel burned. I mean, based on all the stuff he's saying, and if he were to turn around and leave, it'd feel a little fake to me. But
I think he talks the way he does because it's his alma mater. I think he feels like he has to give them a certain level of respect, and he even admitted that, I think, on the Pat McAfee show. He, you know, if all of us, if we've had a former job or our school where we had a good experience, of course, that's the caveat. You have a good experience there. You want to speak glowingly of it and you want to talk it up. And there's probably like, let's be real. He probably, if it's not him, he wants Penn State to have a good coach.
Yeah.
He wants Penn State to do well. And that's where, as a fan, I have literally no allegiance to any school except the University of Nebraska. Not only was I an alum, but I grew up watching Husker football and I'm from Nebraska, right? Like, I could care less if Iowa, Wisconsin, Penn State, Texas, Florida State, Miami, UCLA. I actually hope they all have the worst coaches. I don't care. I want them to lose. Doesn't matter. I only root for one team. But in coaching, it's like you played somewhere, you were a grad assistant, and then you grew up rooting for them, and then you develop all these relationships where, like, you know, he has Joe, was it McGuire? Joe, who's
McGuire,
Joe
yeah.
McGuire? Joey McGuire?
Joey,
like he's got him on. He was a former assistant. Like, Matt Rhule probably roots for Texas Tech because Joey's his friend. That doesn't compute in the fan's mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that way. I have a soft spot for Wyoming. I'll admit that, because of Craig Bowl, right? So now we can start to empathize with that. So I just think he feels like, I got to talk up Penn State. I would never shut it down. right? I don't think it, and we know, guys, like, would you ever turn down an opportunity before you knew all of the details? No, you always take the conversation. Somebody messages you on LinkedIn. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'll listen. You text back. I'll listen to you. Sure.
Yeah.
What's the opportunity? I think that's good business. It's good for his brand, but I also think he's right. Like, it is good for Nebraska that we're in the limelight so much right now because of a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys this too. Like, yeah, him and Kraft are friends, but there is some level of loyalty to Kraft. Kraft gave him his first head coaching job at a D1. Like, that stuff matters. Like, I know nobody wants to hear it, but when I was on staff at Creighton, like, the amount that those guys talk to former coworkers at other programs, not just about scouting, but how's your like, the coaching brotherhood in college athletics is insane. Like, how well you get to know people and the relationships that you develop.
Yeah. To me, again, this is probably me being too emotional, but it feels almost like, if you think in terms of a marriage or a relationship, that's like, I'm not going to feel comfortable until that rings on, or that you can say all this nice stuff, but it feels a little awkward until you actually say you want to be with me. Like, or until you actually say, like, I'm here to stay. And he hasn't said that yet. He's just said, he's just kind of, you're such a nice, whatever, such a beautiful person and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not, it's like, we all have to sit here and wonder if he's really committed, which I don't blame him. It's a tough situation to be in, but I'm probably going to feel that way until, like you said, that contract extension comes out, or he says the words, I'm not.
Or Penn State hires a guy. I mean, we talked about it, right, in the chat. Like, he is always very calculated in his answers.
Yeah.
And, there's some key words that haven't been said one way or the other. Like, he hasn't flat out turned it down. He hasn't flat out said he's staying. Yeah. But, like, to me, that's just, he doesn't know the situation in full across the board. He doesn't know if he's getting an offer. I don't know if he has gotten the offer. Like, the way I look at it too for him is, like, I'm not going to turn it down until I have an offer. Like,
I
have no idea what it is.
Yeah. I think his motives are probably good. I don't think he's holding out for more money for himself. I think if he is holding out for money or leveraging, it's again for the program.
Yeah.
And then too, it's not like he's going to see how the season goes. And if it's not as successful, or if the fans turn, or what, like, again, it's different because it's the alma mater, and I think intentions are good, but might be on for a few weeks.
I mean, if it was Texas, I'd be having a totally different set of feelings.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. Couple thoughts that way. One, I do think he wants more money for NIL, which he has clearly stated. I think that Troy Dannon is probably working on that. My gut says he will also get an extension, not because he needs or wants more money. It may not be that much more money. It just may be, that's just kind of how the business works, right? Yeah. Like, we show publicly we're keeping you, but then those numbers Alex mentioned are so important, right? Like, the buyout for him leaving needs to go up.
Yeah, because right now, like, his
it's
buyout
5
to
million,
get fired,
5 or 6 million, right?
His buyout for getting fired is 50, and to leave is 5.
So really, that's it. The buyout to get fired needs to come down a little bit to protect the university, but the buyout to leave needs to go up. Now, you look at somebody like Danny Busboom Kelly, right? Like, in her contract at Louisville, they had no buyout if you go to Nebraska, because we know that's your dream job. To my knowledge, that's not in Matt Rhule's contract, but what could be in a restructured contract? Like, that's the first thing. The 1B is, I think Troy Dan is going to be working on the roster part of it, because I think that's Matt Rhule's heart. And maybe we've heard this all over social media, right? Maybe he's using this to get that, to really become the program that he thinks Nebraska could be. Yep. Now, the reason I want Matt Rhule to stay, it might be different. I don't know what you guys would think. It might be different than a lot of Husker fans. It's not because I think Nebraska, that Matt Rhule is the best possible coach Nebraska can get. I don't think that. I want some stability and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay if that means 9-3, 10-2, 8-4, 11-1 for several years. That's okay to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like us to have some semblance of continuity year over year for a couple classes. And right now, Matt Rhule gives us the best shot of that.
Yeah.
And I really, for the love, do not want to go through another coaching search. I don't want to have a promotion from within because I think those very rarely work.
Yeah.
Even with Dana, I think Dana Holgorsen is a wonderful offensive coordinator. I don't know that he would be a great head football coach in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I want Rhule to stay for the continuity. I think there are probably better head coaches out there who could get wins. There's probably not better marketers for the university and for the program right now. Like he's the best. He's elite.
Yeah.
But that's why he has, now let's talk football. He has 3, I think elite coordinators. I think John Butler will prove himself to be an elite defensive coordinator in college football. That's what he wanted. It was the job he wanted. Eckler's already there. Holgorsen has the history, right? So Matt Rhule doesn't have to be the one to do all the football. He can be the CEO, the marketer. He can be the one, schmoozing the refs on the sidelines, as Alex likes to point out. Like, well, that's his job.
Yeah. That's why I bring up the emotional side too, and like the whole, the relationship feeling of it, where it's like, I think I like Matt Rhule more than I've liked any coach since Tom Osborne. Like just what he does for the brand, the way he markets, the way
100%.
he represents the culture, like all of that. Where I will genuinely be more sad than like, oh no, sky's falling, we're never going to win again. I will just be really bummed out if he left because I like the guy so much. So
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you guys. Like, I like Matt Rhule way more than I expected to. Now, I have said this, and as of today, I still stand by it. Like, I don't think Matt is the one who gets Nebraska back to the mountaintop. And I want him to stay because I don't think he's done building the foundation for that next guy.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say, and I think I said it to you guys in the chat, I know I said it in a couple other chats this week, is for the first time, for the first time in a long time, I feel like if we had to have a head coaching search, we would still land another quality coach because of the foundation that he has now. But there's still some more foundation to be laid, and it would stink to lose him.
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah, you'd hope it wouldn't be a complete overhaul of everything he built, right? Like,
also, you don't want to be in a coaching search when there's multiple other great Power 5 jobs available.
Yeah,
I did say this to you guys, and I'll say it here. I trust Troy Dannon as much, if not more, than I trust Matt Rhule.
Yeah,
I think he is everything an athletic director should be. We saw what he did at Washington. There's a reason he came here, and everybody was kind of like, what, who? And it's like, no, he's a good athletic director. Yeah. Athletic directors, you don't need a splash hire. You need somebody who's futuristic, who knows how to lead and knows how to be strategic. And I would say relational with their coaches. That's what you need. You don't need somebody that everybody knows, because he is actually not, like, it's weird. He's actually not the face of Nebraska athletics.
Right.
No.
I would say it's Matt Rhule. It's Danny.
Yep.
It's Fred.
Yep.
It's Harper Murray. It's Dylan Raiola. Like that's the face of Nebraska athletics. Troy needs to make sure everybody's on the same page so that they're going in the right direction together. That's Troy's job. And I trust him. So,
and who was Troy highly recommended by? Pat Kraft. And so, yeah,
all comes together, man.
We can trust him a lot more than we can trust Mr. Alberts at this point.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother podcast. All right, let's talk some football. Let's transition a little bit. I want to hear your thoughts on some midseason grades, and then we'll just get quickly into Minnesota here. Let's do some grades, not position by position, because I was thinking about this. I'd love to know your thoughts. I was listening to another show or podcast where they're talking about grades by position. And I was like, man, that is really hard to do because again, let's go back just like the data point of the run defense, right? You might think the defensive line is playing so poorly because we're 90th or 91st in rush defense. Well, what if the linebackers aren't in their run fits? What if the defensive backs are taking poor angles or they've missed tackles, right? So it's like, okay, well, defensive line, C-. I'm like, are they? So I want to talk pass offense, pass defense, rush offense, rush defense, and then special teams. I just want to know your grades, your thoughts halfway through the year. So it's their semester report card for Nebraska football. So let's start with our passing offense. What grade would you give 6 games in?
Give it a B-.
What's
your reason? B-?
B-.
I was gonna say about probably B-. Yeah.
Like obviously nobody loves the consistent goal line fades. So I mean I'm gonna leave that out of my reasoning. Like I just don't.
Is that not our first message to each other almost in the first 5 minutes of every game?
Yeah.
We're like,
it is.
it's we get down there, we're like, I think we all text each other like, okay, here comes a fade.
Yeah.
Except Key about hauled the first one in one hand.
He did.
That would have been pretty. Yeah.
For me, it's just like they don't seem to consistently have like a pet play to go to when you need to spark the offense. Like James, I'm going to say it, like slants. Like, hey, we've gone 3 and out, or we've gotten 1 first down and then stalled out a couple of drives in a row. Let's run a couple of slants. On man-to-man defense, run that. Yeah,
that's your go-to play.
Now the Neziah Hunter screen is kind of becoming that, but like I don't know. I expected to see more mesh, more drags. I expected to see a lot more quick game that would lead to yards after catch that we haven't gotten a ton out of other than a couple of screens.
Yeah. And I say B, and I think I'd like to see it push down the field a little bit more. I'd like to see Dylan take a few more chances or, be a little bit more trigger happy. I was going to bring it on the pod. I'll tweet it out after this, but there was a throw he made. I think there was about 4 minutes to go in the third that I don't think I've ever seen him step in and throw it as quick and hard as he did. And I just would like to see more of that. Like he hit, I don't remember who it was, kind of across the middle for 10, 11 yards. But man, he stepped into it and I think he gave it that velocity that a lot of us
He threw a couple of fastballs on Saturday, finally.
Yeah. Yep. So I'd like to see more of that out of him, and then just take a few more chances to get the ball downfield a little bit more, and less picks. But I mean, I think he's leading I don't know if he's leading Big Ten QBs in picks, but from where he's ranked is in all his other stats, he's leading all of those guys in picks. So.
Yeah, and that's hard. The two that he had, it's hard to know. We talked about that.
Yeah, we've dissected.
One could be on the receiver. The other one could have been, the other guy just made a great play.
Yep.
I'd probably be at a B-. I'd throw in everything you guys said, but I'd also throw in just the offensive line protection at times against Michigan State and Michigan. The other games, it really it didn't matter, right? It was those 2 games against the Michigans where you saw the tackles struggle, but it wasn't just the tackles, right? Maybe it was the scheme, the play, we've talked about the running back, maybe missed a block here or there, but again, Dylan's passing the ball well. We're not dropping the ball. Like we don't have drops. I think we've had a couple.
Yep.
One of them was against Houston Christian. It was inconsequential. Couple others here and there, but overall it's I think there's a lot to like. Okay. How about
one more point to that? What was the most glaring passing stat. I don't know if it was a stat or what you want to look at. 2 years ago, even last year, it was that outside run blocking or outside blocking by the receiver. So like you think of everything that's got to work or go into place to make that tunnel screen work, and the fact that that's props to all the coaches to get that around and receivers. But
well, that's a good transition to the rush offense because we don't run outside a lot. I wish we did more, but when we have, blocking has been pretty good. There've been a couple holding calls, but the perimeter blocking has been good, and I don't think our rush offense is as bad as people think, and it's because Emmett Johnson is second in the Big Ten in rushing. I don't know where he's at in carries. I didn't get a chance. I didn't have time to look that up today. But I would, if for our rush offense, like I'd probably be about the same, about a B-, a low B. For the most part,
B plus.
Okay.
B plus, A minus. Like Emmett Johnson's second in the league in rushing yards. Like
I would grade lower because we haven't established another rusher. Yeah. However, Emmett's had the whole load, but it's not like he's being overloaded. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a game where he's had 25 carries. He doesn't have a game where he's had 30 carries, and I think that was what everybody's fear was. But it's like, okay, he's between 17 and 21 carries. That should be normal for a running back at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah,
that's what you should expect to do.
And I say probably I'll give it a flat B. I want to give it that B plus. I'd say B because of depth. Because it's knock on wood, say he goes down. How are we feeling the next week? We don't have a quarterback that can run, and our backups just don't know because they haven't been carrying the ball a whole lot. So if you had depth or if you knew we could run the ball in other ways, I'd probably rate it higher. But.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna throw something at you really quick here, guys. 6.2, 7.4, 4.1, and 3.2 for your top four running backs. Yards per carry.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Emmett's leading the Big Ten in carries, by the way.
Yeah.
Second yards. How about touchdowns? I think he's leading in touchdowns, isn't he?
I think he's second or third.
No, he's tied for fourth.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's tight. We got 11, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7.
If we ran the ball at the goal line, he'd probably have more.
Yeah, that's it. We'll give our game management grade here at the end. Okay. Let's go to defense. Pass defense. Hard to be better than number one in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know the game last week, it is what it is. Maryland's a passing first team. They're going to get theirs. I wasn't too concerned about it. We didn't even talk about this in the post game. Nebraska kind of played that 3-high shell that Cincinnati played against them in the first week. And Maryland had been throwing the ball deep the whole year. And did they have one deep pass? I don't think they had any deep passes completed. They had several deep attempts. Nebraska really tried to keep them in front.
Had that touchdown that kind of made it over Guthrie, where Guthrie could.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even consider that a deep ball since they were kind of in the red zone. I think it was like the 30-yard line or so. But so I'm giving them an A, just an A.
I agree with an A. I mean, part of the problems last week was tackling in the open field by the secondary. That hasn't been a consistent problem for them.
What I find funny is people say, well, Maryland was the first elite passing offense they played. I'm like, have you watched Cincinnati? Did you watch any of Cincinnati's games after Nebraska?
Yeah.
So don't say Cincinnati's not a good passing team.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say A2, and I don't need to explain more. I don't think so.
All right, this will be the wild card, I think, for everybody. Rush defense, and I think that the three of us probably see it differently than most of your nation. So
I'm going to go with a solid B. I think Michigan's the outlier there. Now, I know you gave up more yards than you would have liked on the ground to Maryland. Again, a lot of that was just poor tackling in the open field. And Maryland is uber talented. I don't think Maryland's a good team. I think they're undisciplined, but They have a ton of talent.
What makes you say that, Alex?
I don't know, 4 personal fouls in the first half. But one thing I was going to bring up tonight, and I'm glad we're doing these grades. Have you got? I think part of the reason you see a step back against Maryland in the pass defense, but a step up against Michigan State in the run defense, is a slight change that they made in defense, moving Sayer Wright to the nickel. He's been a lot better in run, getting in run fits as a secondary player. But then that leaves Andrew Marshall and Donovan Jones on the outside one-on-one, and they've struggled a little bit in tackling there.
That's a good point. That's good. Good insight. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I'll give them a flat B, and it's so tempting to say they're underachieving because they don't have Nash and Ty. Like, we got to just let that go. Like, we're not the same D-line as we were with Nash and Ty, and that doesn't mean we're worse. I mean, statistically we are maybe, but it just by the eye tests, it looks like we're not plugging it up like you wish we would. But again, we've talked about the role of the linebackers coming down, and I don't feel concerned that we're just going to get gashed any given game. It's a little bit of give and take. So,
I'm going to go just a little bit lower, but if C is average, I'm going to say we're a C plus, just a little bit above average, only because of the quarterback run game and just struggling a little bit with Sorsby, a little bit with Childs. I wasn't impressed last week with Maryland. However, again, really weird game when your offense has 3 turnovers and you're always playing with your back to the wall. So I don't want to, if complementary football works when you succeed, it also works when you fail. And so I want to give them some grace, but I would just say they've been above average. And given the fact that they don't have Nash and Ty, I've probably been surprised that it's been as good as it's been. But I think that's also a credit to John Butler, who's a secondary coach. Phil Snow is a secondary coach. But I think that given some time, especially building the kind of defense Butler wants to build over the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, if he's here, hopefully, he talks about the emphasis on the defensive front. And I think we're going to see that. It's just going to take some time. What I do know is, I mean, I'm not shy of saying, like, I don't think Tony White was the answer.
No.
Well, we're seeing what they're doing with quote unquote more talent in Florida State. So
they're built different.
Yeah, and we've got a first, our D-line coach is in his first year. I think he's going to be a great recruiter. He hasn't had that opportunity to get out there yet. So I think the future is bright with him. If
agree. So. And they do have younger players who have size and girth who will be on the line. They're just not ready yet. It takes a little bit longer to develop.
I haven't done this since post Michigan, and so I'll do it after the game tomorrow. But looking at not sacks, but tackles for loss and quote unquote stuffs through the first 4 games this year, those numbers were very similar to the first 4 games last year, even after getting dominated on the ground by Michigan. And we talked about it. Michigan was really the result of 3 really, really bad plays.
Yep.
Now, would you guys
that makes
say
me feel better?
Would you be willing to say the defensive line is at this point in the season, from game 1 to game 6, the most improved unit?
It's up there. I mean,
And I'm putting McCullough in that group because he plays on the line so often.
Yeah.
I think his emergence along with Noweri and Petchak is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like Noweri and Petchak are freshmen. People are freaking out. You guys probably saw this. I put it on Twitter last week. The depth chart, and I just highlighted in yellow all the freshmen and sophomores. And then I think in blue, all the guys who will be back next year. So juniors. And it was pretty much the whole depth chart was covered in some color. And if you're frustrated out there, like, man, how could they look good? How could they look so good one play and then so bad the next? Welcome to the life of an 18 and 19-year-old playing college football.
Yeah.
Or any sport. Like, that's when you're young. I mean, gosh, oh my gosh, like, you watch any sport, like even professionals, like, sports are hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're really hard when you don't have experience. And so I'm impressed with the defensive line. That was a very long-winded answer to my own question. I don't know what you guys think.
You could argue the offensive line is
I was going to go offensive line.
Trending up, at least in the last couple of weeks. And so look at both units as a whole. We're trending up in the trenches. We're improving vastly week to week in the trenches, and that's encouraging. So,
I mean, that's a good point. In the offensive line,
you hear no complaints after last week.
Yeah.
Nope.
After being told how good Maryland's rush
defensive front was.
Yeah. So
Pritchett, I mean, yeah, they've found a good lineup there. So good rotation.
And they're gelling. I mean, that is we call it a unit for a reason. They play together, and they'd only played 5 games together.
Well,
Spindler's a transfer. Pritchett didn't play with these. He didn't play last year. So
that group they've only had 2 games together now.
Yeah,
Michigan.
That's true.
Michigan State and Maryland,
because you were rotating the tackles.
Yeah.
Okay, last 2 groups. Let's do special teams and then game management / coaching. Special teams, probably no surprise.
A+.
I'd say it's an A+.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. I'll say A because I don't know why I'm saying A. I just
block
feel like
in the back. Block in the back.
Block in the back. There a couple
missed field goal.
A penalty that brought a touchdown back. Like, there's some little things that could.
There's room for improvement. Oh, okay.
I'm grading on a curve, Andrew, from what we've had for the last decade.
Boy, It's been bad. Yeah, it is it has to be the most improved unit year over year from last year in the country. I don't have time to go through all that data, but you look at what we were last year. We couldn't snap the ball without it rolling on the ground or hitting the holder in the wrong spot. And it's like, what are we doing? And if we would have had this unit last year, we would have won 9 games, guys.
We would have.
we would have beat Iowa.
Yeah.
We would have beat Illinois. There you go. There's 2 more. We would have won 9 games.
I mean, I think the wide receiver room from year over year has a lot to say there too.
Yeah,
that's true.
I heard an interesting stat today, and so maybe I will back off the yards after catch conversation. But Minnesota beat writer today brought up this stat that I was completely unaware of.
I heard
Nebraska has more yards after catch than Iowa's receivers have total yards.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And for how much I complain about it, yeah, that is insane.
I do think, though, you were right to complain about it after the first game. And it really has been trending up every game. It's been getting better and better. Ja'Cory Barney, I love him to death. He still trips over his own feet every game. Yep. And we don't know what to do. My son and I think his feet are too big for his body. I don't know what size shoe he wears, but he'll get that figured out. He's still young.
Almost want him to play barefoot.
Right? Yeah. So they're trending up. They're doing a great job. Okay, last group here, game management / coaching. I don't know if I have a good grade. While you guys think, I will say this. Probably because the team is more talented, any kind of game management / timeout issues are largely overlooked at this point. I think I had a problem with how they handled halftime against Michigan State, but I get that it was windy. Other than that, it's like I don't hear fans yelling at Matt Rhule with how he's used timeouts, how he's managed the game. I think his coordinators have a lot more say now, and I think he trusts them. It's kind of nice to have, let's be honest, guys, it's nice to have 2 coordinators your age or older and one around your age than previously when, well, Ed Foley was older, but you had two guys who were younger than you. And sometimes you guys know when you're not the head honcho, it's hard to just say, hey, shut up and let me do my job.
Mhm.
But I think we have coordinators who will be able to say that and like, hey, this is the right move here.
Yeah.
We gotta call a timeout, or we gotta let it go, or we gotta press, or hey, let's back off. Like, I think that's helping Matt Rhule's game management.
I'm gonna give it a C+.
I was gonna say B-, so I'm right with you.
Too many failed fourth down conversions in the red zone when you should be taking points.
Yep.
There was a bad challenge against Akron or Houston Christian.
That was stupid. Yep.
And then I was there with you on the halftime thing, James. Not like in lockstep.
Yep.
But I had a similar issue with how they managed it. I didn't necessarily think they needed to burn a timeout, but get to the line and try and run one more play before you make that decision what you're going to do.
Mhm.
But other than that, I mean, on the flip side, you have the great timeout right before half against Michigan for the Hail Mary,
which is brilliant.
So for me, it's going for it at the wrong time. Going for it at the wrong time is driving me crazy.
And that's the thing. I think there's probably, people talk about quote unquote the book or analytics, and it's like, okay, there's probably somebody in his ear with an iPad that says, no, we're supposed to go. But you know what? Analytics don't have feelings, and analytics don't take in the stock. They don't take stock of your surroundings and the feel of how your players are doing, and the fact that you're playing on CBS against Michigan and you haven't beaten them in a while. Just kick the darn field goal.
Yeah.
Just that's where I struggle the most is don't worry about what the book says all the time. Sometimes your gut matters more.
And that is the difference between an elite game manager and just a good coach, right? Like having your finger on the pulse.
Yep.
I was going to say A-. You guys talked me into a B+, but.
And I would say like for the grades, like C, like I'm thinking C is average. Like A+ is Nebraska 95, like A+ across the board, right? Mm-hmm. So when we talk about special teams, like okay, -1 yards return against you and 287 for, like okay, A+, like that, A+. Everything else, like so when I say C+ or Alex does, like that's not bad.
Yeah, and I'm rolling in there. Maybe it's things you can't necessarily put your finger on, but we're a team that's coming back. We're making critical adjustments. They're motivating the kids. Like, that's not necessarily game management stuff, but
it is
coaching overall. Yeah. I think they got to get some credit for the way it's going down.
I think the coaching itself, like if you separated coaching from game management, I think coaching is at an A right now. And I look at the Ja'Cory Barney halftime speech to those guys and Matt Rhule just grinning in the background, right? Like
that was great.
That's A to me.
Yeah.
But I think if you go straight to game management, I'm probably at a C-. All
right. So we can parse those out.
Yeah.
So we're maybe a C- for game management, but coaching probably a B+, solid, A-. A.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, we got a few minutes left. Let's talk Minnesota. I watched the end of the Purdue game, and I feel like this is a very different Minnesota team. I haven't watched all of Minnesota's games. Box scores don't tell everything, but they do tell you a lot. And I think we're going to find a team that they may try to run the ball. They may try to play physical. I just don't think they're built that way.
Yeah.
I don't think they're built that way. And I think that quote unquote culture can really only take you so far. And I think Minnesota really lacks the horses to keep up. And unless there's something bad in the food, guys, like I really think Nebraska is going to win this one pretty easily.
And I think run the ball, like try to outscore our offense by uglying it up and ground and pound the whole game. Like we'll overcome that. So yeah.
I get it that Maccabee goes crazy every time he plays Minnesota, but They gave up 250 yards on the ground to Purdue.
Can we stop for a second and marvel that Devin Mockabee is still in college?
Right.
I thought it was a little brother. I really did.
It's like I heard the first game was like Mockabee. I was like, "There's another one."
It's not Devon. Yeah, it's his brother Devon. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't see Minnesota being able to put up the points.
No,
with their style of play. Like I made a comment on Twitter about like it's an immobile quarterback, and somebody's like, "Oh, you don't watch the game." So I was like, "Well, the most carries this guy has had in a game is 4." I'm not saying he can't evade pressure. Dylan can evade pressure, but is he immobile? Yeah, he's not looking to run. He doesn't want to run. He kind of looks awkward when he runs. This guy that Minnesota has is a big lumbering lurch of a quarterback.
Like Dylan's probably a more athletic runner than this guy is. So
he threw the ball. He threw the ball 46 times. Last week against Purdue, they ran the ball. I thought I saw it was like 21 times for 25 yards in a game. I just don't think they have the offensive firepower to keep up, particularly with how our defense is designed to function.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to make them throw the ball, which seems like their offensive coordinator kind of gives up on the run pretty early. Something that we're used to seeing here in Nebraska over the last decade. I don't think the receiver room's as talented as our corners. I think Drake Lindsey is a decent quarterback, but he's not a guy who's going to be dropping in dimes on passes that you make tough. And if I'm Nebraska and we win the toss on tomorrow night, I'm taking the ball and I am driving it down the field, putting it in the end zone, and putting them behind off the bat.
I think you're going to see a lot of Emmett Johnson.
Yeah, I was just going to say about the stage is set.
Think about
down.
Going to the Pinstripe Bowl and how much Ramir Johnson played. Hometown kid, and Matt Rhule knew. And I think you don't want to put undue pressure on a player, but this game means a lot to him, and I think because of that, it means a lot to the whole team. And I would not be shocked if Emmett has 25 carries. 20, maybe 30 touches. Because of that. And I think you're going to have a huge game.
You see Dana celebrating. Like,
he loves Emmett.
Everybody. I go back to Ja'Cory Barney's first touchdown catch. Like, Dana was excited. Like, Dana's going to find ways to get Emmett involved that aren't just screens. They're not just running. Like, I think you're going to see a couple of wheel routes when he has a mismatch on a linebacker. Like, Dana's going to scheme ways to get him the opportunity to make big plays. Emmett bailed us out last week, and he's going to find a way to reward him in the game that is the most important game of the year for him.
Agree. All right, let's do some predictions. Oddly specific, and your score prediction. Andrew, I'm going to start with you.
All right, I just thought of this one during that last discussion. I think oddly specific. This is the game, and to me, it's a key of the game and it's one of those. It's one thing that's lacking so far is that step on the throat drive where we just make it just out of reach for the other team. So my specific prediction is we go up by 17 late in the second quarter. We have a 17 lead at halftime, and it's going to be too much for Minnesota to overcome.
Great.
What's your score?
What's your score prediction?
Score. We'll say we like that 38 number. I'm going to go Huskers 38, Minnesota 21.
Okay, big cover.
17.
All right.
I got Emmett Johnson scoring on a 64-yard run.
Yes.
And I like Andrew. I think Nebraska puts it to him in the first half. I actually tweeted it out to Connor Happer yesterday. I think by halftime, Nebraska is comfortably bowl eligible. I have Nebraska 45, Minnesota 17.
Nice.
Woo!
We can relax in the second half.
Oh my gosh, that'll be a wonderful Friday night. Okay, I'm going to give you two oddly specific predictions. One, Emmett is going to score 3 touchdowns in the game, all rushing touchdowns to kind of move himself up the chart there on the Big Ten rushing leaders for touchdowns. The second oddly specific prediction is that Nebraska will score on their first drive, running the ball into the end zone in the red zone.
Okay.
So a rushing touchdown, something we've all asked for.
A non-gimmicky one where we
and it's going to be on second down. Second down in the red zone on our first drive.
What's the run?
It's just like kind of we'll say it's a counter to Emmett.
Option, right?
I'm going to throw a second one at you guys. Either Mosey or Mekhi Nelson break off a 25-yard run.
That'd be great.
I'd love to see it.
Or maybe Kenneth Williams gets some carries.
Kenneth Williams' house is a kick return this week.
See, I actually don't know much about Minnesota special teams. I would assume they're pretty solid because that seems like a very PJ Fleck thing.
Yeah, details.
But I don't know. Okay, so score prediction for me. Yeah, that's basically what they are. Score prediction for me. I don't want to overestimate how good I feel going into this game. I was thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 31-17, but again, after seeing Purdue is just Purdue, they're going to struggle because of the nature of where their program is. But if Nebraska ran for 250 yards, I'd have to think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 42 to 14.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I'm crazy. I'm gonna say 42-14 Nebraska. I think Nebraska's gonna go nuts, and we're all gonna really enjoy watching football on Saturday.
In the all whites, by the way.
In the all whites.
And pink.
That's another thing we didn't talk about.
Oh,
Matt Rhule,
I heard pink face masks.
Did you really? Because they're doing pink shoes.
I've heard
pink shoes.
I've heard pink face masks.
That'd be pretty legit.
Yeah.
With
for them.
A pink stripe down the middle.
No, you didn't.
I'm dead serious. I don't know if it's a troll, but that's something that
What's
I've seen
your
floating
source?
around.
Name your source.
I would Matt Rhule is systematically attacking all of these curses.
Yep.
Right?
Just in time to run out the door.
To leave.
Yeah.
All right.
I broke them all and now I'm gone.
I broke. Yeah.
Hey,
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Last week, my specific prediction was Dane Key would have 3 touchdowns. I was close. He had 1 called back. He had 1.
That's a good point.
Almost beautiful one-hander in the corner, and he did have.
And then the real one-hander. I'm still mad at that offensive pass interference called on Emmett.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum, right? Like the ref just saw a collision and bodies on the ground. Like he didn't see it happen.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, hopefully by Friday night we're celebrating. We'll do a reaction show as long as we're all still awake.
I'll be awake.
Andrew will be because he's on the West Coast. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody enjoy the game on Friday. We'll see you next time. Go Big Red.